Hey YouTube, this is Brian here. We're going to be talking baseball today. This is going to be my all-time fantasy baseball team of sorts, looking mostly at all-time WAR by position, and looking at a player's accolades and their work around the community and, well, a variety of things. This is a pretty objective list. I think I didn't just pick players from my team, even though you can tell who I'm a fan of. Um, yeah, there's players from the dead ball era and from the Dodgers and from multiple other places here. There's Sandy Koufax, and yeah, there's some Giants people, but it's not just a countdown of all time Giants players, I assure you. So don't worry if you're a fan of another team. Yeah, there's plenty of variety on here, I think. And I also picked a lot of stats and a lot of justifications as to why I selected each player. There's going to be a pitcher. There's going to be five pitchers actually. There's going to be a starting rotation basically. There's going to be a closer, a manager, and then someone at every defensive position essentially. Okay, so let's start it off with the pitchers with the starting rotation. We're going to start with Robin Roberts at number one. He was a Hall of Famer. He's also got a career 3.41 ERA, and the Phillies retired his number after a 12 plus year career with them. He was also a 7-time All Star and a 2-time MLB strikeout leader. I think it's impressive how he had that kind of peak on top of his lengthy consistency. Um, Number two on here is Sandy Koufax. 3 Cy Young Awards and 3 Triple Crowns. 5 NL ERA, 5-time NL ERA leader is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, that sentence was missing a word there. number the next thing I'm trying to mention basically is that he threw a perfect game and also 4 no hitters, and his number was retired by the Dodgers, essentially. So yeah, I mean, in spite of his injury-shortened career, because he had a lot of arm injuries, and he didn't get to throw the full average length that a pitcher throws. He didn't get to throw that many innings, you know. In spite of his shortened career, um, he accomplished a lot, and he's one of the most dominant pitchers ever. Number three is going to be Pedro Martinez. He also was one of the most dominant pitchers ever in his prime, and he also won 3 Cy Young Awards. He was a 5-time MLB ERA leader, and he was a 3-time strikeout leader. He was an 8-time All Star. And another impressive thing about Pedro Martinez, in my opinion, is that he did all this, and he posted a career 2.93 ERA during the steroid era, while pitching in offensive ballparks like those of the Yankees and those of the Red Sox, against juiced up, scary ass power hitters, against the most home run happy era in all of baseball history, pretty much. And he deserved his Hall of Fame selection, I think. Number four on my pitching rotation is going to be Tom Seaver, 12-time All Star and 3 Cy Youngs as well. He had his number 41 retired by the Mets, and he was a 92 Hall of Fame inductee as a Met. And part of the reason why he received that honor was because he was a 1969 World Series champion. He had his number 41 retired by the Mets, and he was also inducted into the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. He was a 5-time NL strikeout leader, and he was a 3-time NL ERA leader. Number five on here is going to be Nolan Ryan. This guy had video game career numbers. He's one of the most durable pitchers in history. He had an amazing 27-year Hall of Fame career with a 3.19 ERA, 5,714 career strikeouts, first all time, and 81 career WAR. I think that this guy Um, he makes a good back end to any all-time starting rotation, just because of how reliable he was. You could certainly count on Nolan Ryan to be out there every fifth day, and probably more often if you needed him. Okay, let's get to the closer on this list, and I'm sure you know who it's going to be. It's going to be Mariano Rivera. Uh, he was the all-time saves leader at his position, and he innovated the closer position, I think. He was a 13-time All-Star, um, and the Yankees retired his number 42. That was also Jackie Robinson's number that had previously been retired across baseball. He was the last guy to get grandfathered in to wear it, so that's a pretty big honor. He's considered to have the best cutter of all time on top of all these things. So yeah, this guy's a Hall of Famer in his own right. But that's a pretty big honor to share a number uh, with probably the most respected guy in all of baseball history, which is Jackie Robinson. Okay, number one on this list, not so much in terms of order, but more, number one at position, first base. The pick for first base is basically going to be Lou Gehrig. He's also a Hall of Famer. He was similarly to Koufax, forced to retire at the age of 36. Um, Koufax didn't have Lou Gehrig's disease, but he was also forced to retire prematurely at a young age, is what I'm trying to say. He was the first player to have his jersey number retired by the whole team that he played for. The Yankees retired his jersey number of 4. He had batted 340 and had a career OPS of 1080, which kind of like measures how hard you hit the ball with how often you get onto base. So he got onto base more than half the time, and he was a 7-time All-Star. So yeah, I don't think there's a better selection at first base. Maybe Albert Pujols. Um, okay, let's get to number 2. The selection for second base is going to be Rogers Hornsby. His career batting average is second only to Ty Cobb's all-time marker of 358. He held the all-time record for home runs at second base until 1984, when his record was broken by Joe Morgan, and he's the ninth. He's ninth all-time at career WAR, basically, with 127, which is pretty impressive, and that's for every position. But for second baseman, he's actually the current leader at second base in all-time WAR. Yeah. Let's look at the selection for third base, which is going to be Brooks Robinson. It seems like every team has an all-time player at a said position. He's undoubtedly Baltimore's all-time third baseman, and I don't think any Orioles fan would disagree with that. He's an 18-time All-Star and a 16-time Gold Glover, probably the best third baseman defensively of all time, and he was a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he had his jersey number retired by the team. Number 4 on this list is going to be Cal Ripken Jr. He's considered one of the best shortstops ever, and he's a top 3 player at his position. If you look at WAR at that position, it includes guys like Honus Wagner, A-Rod, and Cal Ripken Jr. And he's kind of like the better sides of both in a way, in that he has more power and better defense while not being on steroids and, not being from 200 years ago. Anyways, he was a 19-time All-Star, and he set the MLB record of 2,632 games played. He was, I think what am I trying to say? Sorry if I just had an absence seizure. He hit the most home runs at the shortstop position, is what I'm trying to say. And he was a 2-time MVP, and he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's all what I was trying to say. Okay, let's get to number 5 on here at the catcher position, which is going to be Ivan Rodriguez, one of the top 3 career leaders at his position in WAR. He's also a Hall of Famer, and he's a rarity for his position to be so well rounded and equally respectable from his offense and defensive perspectives. He was the 1999 MVP award winner, and he set an MLB record for 2,227 games in games caught. Okay, let's get to left field, which is going to be Ted Williams, second all time in home runs behind Bonds. He has the highest all time on base percentage, actually, which is pretty impressive at 482. So he was on base almost half the time. That's pretty freakish. This guy had one of the best batting eyes of all time, I think. Um, Number 7 on here at center field is going to be a Giants player. Ooh, Giants player finally. It's going to be Willie Mays. It's going to be a Hall of Famer, 24-time All-Star, 2-time MVP. He has some of the best numbers in history across the fucking board, and he played until he was 42 on top of it all. This guy's probably the Giants' all-time best player. Well, I don't know if you're just counting pure stats, maybe Bonds, but I think this guy's probably the Giants' best all-time player. Uh, Anyways, let's look at number 8 on here, which is going to be right field, Babe Ruth. We're going to pick him for his 714 career home runs, 342 career batting average. Most people never hit that high in one season. Um, he had a OPS over 1,000, which is freakish. It's kind of like the kind of stats that your road to the show player will put up if you give him 99 stats across the board. He's a 7-time World Series champ and inaugural Hall of Famer. And this guy had a pitching career on top of it all. He with a 2.28 ERA, and he led the ERA. Sorry, he led the AL in ERA in 1916. That's what I'm trying to say. The manager on here on my all-time team is going to be Bruce Bochy. Bruce Bochy. He won the World Series in 2010, 2012, and 2014 with the Giants, which is why I'm picking him. And he was also actually in the World Series with the San Diego Padres in 1998. They lost to the Yankees. He had a career as a backup catcher before he became a manager, so I think that probably um, provided extra experience. And he was the 1996 NL Manager of the Year. So yeah, I think he's a respectable pick at this position. Okay, so yeah, thank you for watching. We were able to get everybody in one video, and I'm pretty happy with how it went. Sorry if there was any gaps here and there. Thank you for watching. I love you guys. I'm out.